From one dangerous sea to another, the Red Sea. It's been a Houthi minefield since November. Multiple ships have been attacked. Many companies have been forced to take another route and shipping costs are rising. Now the Houthis claim to be targeting Israel. But others are facing the threat too, like India, for example. Most of India's trade passes with Europe, passes via the Red Sea. And that could take a hit. Reports say India's exports could fall by $30 billion. That's $30 billion in the current financial year. It works out to a 7% drop. A major reason for that is shipping costs. Usually sailing from India to Europe takes $500 to $600. That's the cost per freight. Now it's almost $2,000. If you add war risk insurance, it's almost $3,000. So exporters have two options: either absorb the rise and risk a loss, or add it to their selling cost. But whatever they choose, it's bad news for them. So India is concerned about the situation. It has deployed a lot of hardware in the region. This is what India has: 10 warships, surveillance planes, additional drones, and more marine commandos. They've been busy since December. Just last week, the Navy carried out a major operation. It thwarted a hijacking attempt near Somalia. But the trouble is not over. India is now escorting commercial ships in the region. Basically, warships will sail with cargo ships, sort of like a bodyguard. It tells you how serious the situation is. And what about the US-led coalition? Well, no one's interested, it seems. Most US allies are reluctant to deploy ships. Plus, the Houthis won't stop. Last month, the Americans sank a Houthi vessel. 10 of their fighters were killed. Look at how the Houthis commemorated them.
America will bear the consequences and results of what it has done. And we say that we don't fear anything America does.
It was a sea of people, as you can see. Tens of thousands gathered in Sana'a. They chanted slogans against America. What does that tell you? It's a popular campaign for the Houthis. Attacking these ships gives them political mileage. So why would they stop? Of course, Israel is not bothered. They continue to wage war on Gaza. It's other countries in Asia who are affected. For example, Singapore has joined the US-led coalition. It is sending soldiers to the Red Sea. So is Sri Lanka. Their major exports have been hit by the conflict, so Colombo is sending a warship. Even Pakistan has joined in. Their warships are patrolling the Arabian Sea. Now, Islamabad has not blamed the Houthis, but their concern is quite clear: keeping the sea lanes safe. The biggest responsibility lies with India. New Delhi is the net security provider in the region, also the first responder in the Arabian Sea, so naturally our deployments are more. But what about the rest of the world? The Red Sea carries around 12% of global trade, so surely it's everyone's job, not just one or two countries. But the attitude right now is your exports, your problem. Even China is half-hearted. Its largest shipping firm has stopped using the Red Sea. Some exporters are now using trains. Goods are being taken overland to Central Asia and Europe. Of course, this is not a long-term solution. It's more expensive and time-consuming. To safeguard the Red Sea, there are just two options. One, a much larger force. You can't have half-hearted participation. Or two, end the war in Gaza. Ask Israel to stop the offensive. But Washington is not interested. They've talked about limiting the offensive. They've talked about protecting civilians, but they won't call for a ceasefire. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in West Asia. He still thinks that threats will work.
We've had 40 countries come together to make clear that what the Houthis are doing has to stop. And we have other countries that have made clear that if it continues, there have to be consequences. So our strong view, our strong preference is that the Houthis get the message that they're receiving from countries around the world, that this needs to stop.
Well, news flash, they won't. The Houthis are now heroes in the Muslim world. They're being celebrated on the streets, so threats will not stop them. It's time the US and its allies realize that.